Louisiana ranks first in the country for economic impact from America's maritime industry. We have more than 500,000 maritime jobs that pump about $182 billion into the state's economy every single year. Our citizens cross hundreds of bridges every day over various waterways, never realizing the economic engine for our state that is powered by that water, or the opportunities that are, or at least should be, available to them in terms of jobs and careers. The industry is vital to the world's supply chain system, moving goods from the rest of the world to the country and from the country to the rest of the world. It is not an exaggeration to say that America feeds much of the world, but 60% of that comes right down this river.
My own personal journey started 34 years ago as a deckhand on the back of a vessel. It was told to me at the time that there would never be a black man in a white shirt on this vessel. Now, fast forward today. Man, were they wrong. As God, who is no respecter of person, had a plan for my life. And he did it for me, and I know he can do it for others. When Jared Austin, Aaron Johnson, Kenny Briggs, Errol Williams, Dominic Blanton, Eric Moorman, Roy Vance, Chris Wu, and I started this journey, we all had our own story to tell. We decided we would begin with a simple concept and a strong will to make a difference in an industry that had been rewarding for us, but not for others. I'm happy to report that Open Waters is here, and it is ready to make a change in the maritime industry in a way no other program has imagined. Open Waters is an easy concept. We will seek to promote the wealth of career opportunities while advocating for diversity, education, and accessibility. Myself and my fellow black pilots in our organizations made the important decision that we would do what it takes to change an industry for years that hasn't been truly fair and reflective of our great state. We know that knowledge is power. So we approach our respective pilot groups with a simple concept. Let's be the change that we desire. The response was overwhelmingly yes. Together, we acknowledge that pilot jobs are limited. But even with the limitations, we will ensure we make more strides in preparing the next generation to apply. Equally as important, we will make sure that there's a larger effort within the maritime industry to change how it advocates, recruits, hires, and promotes. We will march this great state from the tip of Shreveport down to the boot of Venice and touch every student, K through 12, and higher learning to establish partnerships, mentorships, and internships, and talk to young black men and women and tell them, yes, you can. You can achieve success. You can have a rewarding career. You can provide for your family. There is a wealth of opportunity in the maritime industry, and we're here to help you navigate it. We will connect with partners, institutions in the industry that share our values and our goals. We will be intentional in everything we do by spending money with black-owned firms. We will also ask our partners to reach out in your supply chain and think about being intentional on how you procure by inviting more black-owned businesses to compete for opportunities within their supply chain. To help facilitate this move, we've partnered with the Southern Regional Minority Development Council to provide us with certified minority businesses to engage. And the final piece of Open Waters is we will track our progress by developing metrics to ensure we are achieving the success we know we can. Because everyone knows if you can't measure the progress, progress isn't happening. Our two pilot organizations commit openly and transparently to making a real difference.
Our state's maritime industry is already one of today's biggest economic engines for Louisiana. But I'm here to tell you that we are on the brink of a major expansion of a vital industry which will create thousands of new jobs in years to come. Just last month, we saw the Mississippi River's deepest draft vessel ever come into the port, now that the Mississippi has recently been dug to 50-foot channel, has been completed, meaning we will be welcoming some of the biggest ships in the world. Larger ships carrying much more cargo, entering and departing our mighty Mississippi, which we have proudly called for years the gateway to America. With the governor's leadership, the Port of New Orleans is currently assembling a $112 million crane, state-of-the-art, 100-foot crane that will modernize the wharves and greatly enhance the country's supply chain. In addition, the Port of New Orleans has launched a $1.5 billion project to build the latest and greatest containerized cargo terminal. Containerized cargo has more than doubled in the last decade in Louisiana. And it's a major project. These major project investments that are happening in Louisiana have seen most expansive growth in the maritime industry as never seen before. And the worldwide company Venture Global has invested $20 billion into Louisiana and now building a brand new LNG facility in Plaquemine Parish, which will catapult our state as a major strategic LNG, liquefied natural gas supplier. The bottom line of all of these developments are jobs, jobs, and more jobs. With the launch of today's initiative, Open Waters, the river pilots are leading the way in educating the minority population about the abundant opportunities in the maritime field. We want our fellow citizens to know what careers are available, and more importantly, to help them navigate the training and education needed to becoming a maritime partner. When I was a much younger man than I am today, someone exposed me to a job of tying ships up on the river during college. This started a 45-year love affair that still exists today. The work I have done and the men and women I have done it with exist. And you know what they say, that if you end up doing something that you love for a living, you never work a day in your life. That statement is true today as it was then. I am proud to be a Crescent River pilot, and I am proud to be involved in such a great initiative that exposes young minority men and women to the opportunities and industry that they never even knew existed. It's time to be intentional in diversifying an industry that historically has not been very diversified. The Crescent pilots are committed to setting a course to do exactly that, and Open Waters could be that vessel that will benefit Louisiana's for generations to come. And we're really committed to this, and I appreciate all of your input, and we're going to do this, and I hope 5 years from now I could look back at what we did today and say, it's really working. So that's where we are at the Crescent Pilots. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
As your NOBRA president, I will do whatever it takes to advance the Open Waters initiative. I'm committed to achieving results that will grow, strengthen, and diversify this industry. This initiative is personal for me. I was born and raised on a riverbank down in Algiers, Louisiana, on the west bank side of New Orleans. So I grew up on the levee. I grew up on the river. I started working on the river when I was 16 years old. This is my love, this is my passion. But the thing about Algiers is a hard-working community, and it's diversified. It's always been diversified. And that's what makes it a vibrant community, because of its diversity. Throughout my career working on the Mississippi River, I've seen the lack of diversity on the boats within the maritime industry. So for this, This has been a long time coming of a change. I am personally grateful for the opportunity to influence and impact this intentional shift in our industry focus. I know that open waters will be one of the catalysts for a profound industry transformation. And I thank everyone for participating. And if I did not acknowledge anyone in here that did help out, I appreciate all the help. And thank you for coming out today.
Louisiana's robust maritime industry includes a long list of jobs and career opportunities, including vessel operators, marine terminals, shipyards, and yes, river pilots, just to name a few, who are engaged in the movement of cargo. And today's initiative, Open Waters, is an intentional outreach effort to let everyone and all of the communities across the state and all of the schools across the state to know about the kinds of jobs and career opportunities that abound in this fast-growing maritime industry. And you've heard all of the words. You've heard inclusion, diversity. You've heard that we're going to be intentional and purposeful. That's what this is about today. I think there's a recognition by all of us here today that diversity makes us all stronger and better. And Crescent and NOBRA are saying that and embracing that. I think we're all familiar with the saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. That is certainly appropriate as we talk about the maritime industry here today. As more communities of color learn about the many job and career opportunities that are available in this sprawling industry, and as more and more doors of opportunity open to them, and they begin to secure these good-paying jobs and careers, it will not just benefit them and their families and their communities, although that will certainly happen. It will make all of us better and stronger. The state's #1 industry should and must be as diverse as its citizens, which is why our goal with this new broad-reaching campaign is to offer a path forward to help promote, recruit, train, and educate all of our people about the abundant opportunities that this industry has to offer, and to help guide all of those individuals through the process of successfully becoming part of it. I think it's imperative that we all embrace diversity, that we include all of our citizens in the future growth of this major industry and all the others that exist across our state. And there are several billion-dollar expansions underway or planned along our rivers, and the maritime industry is poised to grow along with all of these expansions. And so this is just going to continue to get bigger and better and have more opportunity associated with it. So I applaud today the river pilots, NOBRA, and Crescent for taking this action to take the lead for the entire maritime industry to establish a new website, hold informational sessions to educate people on what jobs are available, and to assist individuals to get them on the right career track. As many of our thousands of maritime industry workers retire, we're going to need new workers, a newer generation, to step up and replenish their ranks to preserve the safe and efficient transportation of America's goods and food. So Louisiana waters are open, and they're open now. Our maritime industry is growing at record rates, and all are welcome and encouraged to be part of this thriving industry. So thank you all, and God bless.
Our mission as a caucus is to raise the quality of life of African Americans through legislation, education, and economic development. Today, with the help of Crescent and NOBRA, we are doing just that. And I will tell you that the media folks have asked several times, was this about the bill? Was this about the bill? And I will tell you that in all of the conversations with Captain Bob, Captain Jackson, continuously they said, no matter what happens with this bill, we are committed to this. And for the legislators here, I am extremely proud that you have blessed me to lead our organization, and any of our 37 members can lead this organization. But the questions, the tough questions that we asked, the education that we have received, and the partnership that we were able to establish, because in constant conversations, and many of us, you know, the legislature, we are good at studying problems. We are good at forming a task force, forming a committee. None of that happened. It was a simple dedication from your group when you said constantly, we are going to make this right. We are going to put forth an opportunity to provide access and exposure. And that's all people of color need. We don't need handouts. We need access. We need information. We need exposure, because young people emulate what they see. I would not be here as a politician if young Ted didn't see Cleo Fields come to my high school. So I saw it, and I knew that I could attain it because I saw him. Young people today, that's all they need, is an opportunity and a door open. And I guarantee you, the young people of color that you introduce to your industry, they are going to do well with this Open Waters initiative. So I thank you so much for doing what you said and committing to this initiative to make sure that you increase the diversity and access and opportunity to the Louisiana maritime industry. And I look forward to watching the success of this program. Thank you so much.
This year we had a field trip with about 47 kids, all minority from all over the southern Louisiana. Yeah, they were very interested. The girls were more interested than what the guys were, to tell you the truth. Not tying and stuff, yeah. But I'm here to talk about the future, the future of open waters, right? The future goes on forever if you think about it. It's never ending. The future holds many things, hopes, transitions, second chances, but it also brings challenges. Challenges like the next mountain to climb, the next obstacle to overcome, or the next river to transit in our case. The future may go on forever, but it must start right here, right now. Today marks a great transition for the next generation, a transition that we hope will change the course of the maritime industry and add diversity into it. Today's launch of Open Waters Initiative finally turns the talk into the walk. Today, we begin to walk together towards a more successful homegrown future for Louisiana and throughout the nation. What we are creating here moves us out of the old way of thinking of it is what it is, or let's just stay quiet and see what happens and plays it out. These old ways of thinking yield little to no advancement in the underserved minority populations of the state. Today we change that. My journey brought me to the pinnacle of the maritime industry, being a pilot. It's kind of like being the brain surgeon of this. My idea started right over the bluff right there. I grew up in Malata Bend. So that's my first time seeing barges, first time seeing ships was down there. My father worked at the Port of Greater Baton Rouge right there. I started my educational career right here at Southern University. Didn't graduate from here, sorry, but but I'm a graduate of Texas A&M. I want to use this platform to generate changes and inspire others to reach the top. And what better way to do that is right here. In order to know where we're going in the future with open waters, we must know where we have been. The first documented African-American pilot was Robert Smalls, born in April of 1839, born into slavery. He worked in shipyards, worked on boats, finally worked as a steersman and worked his way up to navigator. In May 13th of 1865, he gathered his family and the crew members of his family, all African American, and they commandeered the CSS Planner. He dressed up as a captain and made his way out to sea, sailed north, and turned the ship over to the Union. Later on, Smalls would become a member of the United States House of Representatives, an educated man, a wealthy man, and later on, when his plantation that he grew up on went up for sale, he bought that plantation. That message is right there in black and white for our youth. Every day we're one decision away from remaining the same, but we're also one decision away from making a change and achieving greatness. But every single day we get a chance to start all over again. Right here in the state of Louisiana, Captain Kelvin Boston in 1990 was the first commissioned black pilot on the river. He was the first to change the tide of a 100-year-old system and will continue to evolve and change until this present day. Between corporate and maritime professionals, industry, and the legislators that are here present today, we're going to make a commitment that we're going to continue to make that change. We must be the catalyst for change. The Open Waters Initiative has already begun to establish a relationship with Louisiana's brightest scholars. With the help of the UL system, Southern University, and several others, we're able to bring this maritime industry to Louisiana schools, expose tomorrow's leaders to invaluable resources that's right in our backyard, right over the levees. Career marketing materials are developed to distribute statewide, and the education curriculum are being modified to encompass all areas of the maritime field. Partnerships, scholarships are being created to facilitate a pipeline for minorities to at least have a fighting chance at these life-changing jobs. Let's talk about a couple numbers here, because if we don't talk about the numbers, none of this really matters, right? In 2019, the American maritime field employed 650,000 men and women. That created $41 billion in revenue. Here in Louisiana, it's close to 71,000 jobs. That created an impact of $182 billion. Those jobs allowed Louisiana workers to bring home $4.2 billion. I want you to think about that number, $4.2 billion. You spread that amongst all those families. That's life-changing for some people. But we need the education here about the maritime industry so these jobs won't go other places. I think our message is clear, and the future's here. And thank you guys for your time, okay?
I'm proud to tell you that we are already expanding the course offerings at Nichols State in partnership with his sister institution in the Piney Woods in North Louisiana at Grambling State. And in February, our board will be looking at the first bachelor's degree in maritime management. An extraordinary advance. It provides so many opportunities for our folks. We're going to look at our naval architecture program at University of New Orleans. We're going to partner with, I think, and I'm a little bit prejudiced about this, one of the finest law schools in the country, a school that I get to spend a lot of time with students and faculty, Southern University Law Center, because there's so many opportunities with maritime law. To the maritime industry, you know, when Captain Bob and Captain Jackson came to visit with us at the UL system, you know, it's not often that industry is coming to you saying, how do we support you? How do we help you help us? This summer, when we introduced the first cohort of the Reginald F. Lewis Scholars as part of our Black Male Initiative, the first industry we met with because of people like Ted James and, of course, the magnificent Maxine Cormier. We brought the scholars down to the Capitol, and they heard from the industry firsthand. And when you see the eyes shine because of opportunity that they never knew existed on the other side of the levee, what a powerful place that is. And it bodes so well for our future. Folks, we know that the foundation of workforce development and economic development and community development that we all talk about so often is human development. And when we provide the foundation of education to these young men and women that empowers them to seize these opportunities, seize control of their quality of life, seize control of their economic futures, that's our mission. That's our core. That's our partnership that ties us together. And we're so thankful for your participation, your support, Governor, your support. And to the industry, thank you for stepping up and doing the right thing for Louisiana. This is an extraordinary day and an extraordinary setting, and thank you all for being here today.
This is a very exciting time, I think, for all of us to have this occasion to witness this type of presence and I think the acknowledgement of an effort that would lead to more diversity and inclusion in the maritime industry. You know, we know a little bit about, you know, diversity, and we are actually guided by the value here at Southern University of ensuring access and providing opportunities for students to ultimately be able to fulfill their aspirations and ultimately be competitive in this global marketplace upon graduation. We certainly recognize that this industry may well be an opportunity for many who may have thought that to ascend to such an occupation may have been out of reach for them. So I'm really excited about the efforts that has taken place to bring this day about. And you know, it's interesting that every day here at Southern, we have the occasion to witness river pilots engaging in their work. And certainly, I think as we go forth, I do see on the horizon the opportunity to work with my colleagues, whether it be in the University of Louisiana system, the LSU system, or the Louisiana Technical Community College system, to work with them to provide opportunities by way of academic programs and degrees and credentials such that these students can realize the promise that's before them.
Just a little bit about our company, Cooper Consolidated and Crescent Towing. Cooper Consolidated operates midstream berths, which load bulk vessels from Belle Chasse, Louisiana, all the way up to Darrow, Louisiana, right here below Baton Rouge. And we transport approximately 14 million tons a year through those facilities. Crescent Towing was established in New Orleans in 1942, and we operate harbor tugs, which assist the vessels that the river pilots dock along the Mississippi River. Between the two companies, we employ approximately about 400 people here in the state of Louisiana. And we look at this initiative with Open Waters to expand that and partner with them in order to grow that. You heard a lot today about all the future developments, all the opportunities there. It's tremendous what's going on this river. As they said earlier, between the levees. A lot of people, when they ask what I do, I'm in shipping, and they all say, "You work for Amazon?" I was like, "No, actually I work on the river." So, but there, I talked to Captain Jackson years ago about this, and we continue to have had conversations about the struggles. I think a lot of it is just people not familiar with our industry and knowing what the opportunities and the jobs that are there. They're good paying jobs. They're long-standing jobs. This gentleman over here works for our company. The tall gentleman there, he's been with us for 52 years, right here in this picture right here. We look at this as a family joined company. You see generations come through this industry, and we want to start that now today with this initiative. So I welcome all of our industry partners to join us. And I look forward to seeing the success over the next couple of years. And thank y'all for letting me be here. Thank you.
This is what we hope to do. We hope to bring more industry partners to the table that will help us to really create more opportunities for more individuals. And Andrew, your call to action, I'm hoping more industry executives come on board. Membership will bring wealth of our industry's knowledge and expertise.